Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Department Podcast, a wrestling recap version of the Department Podcast, where myself, Stephen Clark, along with Justin Valentovic and Jesse Norman, are here to break down what happened in this week in wrestling. It was a kind of a slow week, nothing really too big happened just because we came right off of Survivor Series, but we will still break down the main points from Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. But before we get into that, fellas, how you doing?
Good. Thanksgiving was good. That's in the books. We're on to Christmas. So, Oh boy, even at work, because I sit in a truck all day, I try to avoid like the Christmas station, whatever number that is in, the New York, New Jersey area. But Alt 92.3, which is like the alternative station,
Yes.
They started playing alternative bands' Christmas covers of songs. So it's like you just can't run away from Christmas anymore. Granted, we're recording this on the 28th. It's not even December yet, but minute Black Friday hits, it's Christmas time, bitches. It's
Christmas. Has Blink-182 had a Christmas album yet, or no?
No, not yet.
Soon, maybe soon. You gotta
hopefully
that's
soon.
Crazy.
Send them an email.
Weezer's done a Christmas album though.
Have they?
Yeah,
I know the Justin Bieber Christmas album's good. I know that much. Oh. It's good. You're not a Bieber fan? I'm a believer, baby. He makes good music. He makes really good music. Jesse, how are you?
Yeah, I'm up and down on Bieber. Some things are good, some things are not so good.
Respect.
I thought Changes was not a good album.
No.
I thought the one before that was really good.
My World 2.0.
Changes was really bad.
No, nothing beats My World 2.0.
Yeah. No. If we clown Chance the Rapper for making a whole album about his wife, we also have to clown Justin Bieber for making an entire album about his wife that was so bad.
Early
at least
Bieber
Chance was like, "Oh, I love my wife." Bieber was just like, "Oh, me and my wife have a lot of sex, and it's really good."
Basically,
it's like, thanks for that, Justin.
Thank you. But yeah, that's way off topic from what we're talking about here today, because we are talking about wrestling, and I was gonna talk about stuff outside the ring, but there is literally nothing to talk about this week except for a couple of things with Dark Side of the Ring scrap in the China episode, but there's nothing to debate or talk about that. Whatever, I guess your family didn't want something, but literally there has been no notable outside the ring news, so that's scrapped for the week. But we're heading over to Monday Night Raw, must be Monday, and we're coming off Survivor Series, so they have to do something. They have to find a number one contender for Drew McIntyre. So they had a series of singles matches, 3 of them, to determine who will be in a triple threat match this Monday. And the winners of those matches were Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and AJ Styles. How do we feel?
You just mean Riddle.
Riddle. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't know who Matt Riddle is.
I don't know who Matt Riddle is, too.
What's a Matt?
It sounds familiar, but...
no, this match can be really, really good. And the fact that it'll be on TV, hopefully it saves the show because Raw's been really bad. But I like everyone in the match. Everyone who could come out as a winner.
And they all feel fresh.
That's the thing.
Yeah, they all feel fresh against Drew because we've had Orton Drew for so long.
I'm good with whoever it will be. It'll probably be Styles because you have to assume that'd be the best possible TLC match. But also Drew and Keith Lee in a TLC match would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I would like for it to be Lee just because I feel like he hasn't really done anything since being called up after the Randy match at the pay-per-view, which they kind of just moved off of immediately after it happened. So I would like it to be Lee just for storyline purpose if he was in that kind of thing with him and Randy a little bit before. The one thing I am worried about is if Randy gets involved.
Well, the good thing is
it causes like a DQ or something.
Well, it is a triple. Oh, you never know with WWE, but it is a triple threat. So hopefully,
I never know. So there's been times that they've literally been like, "Oh, it's multi-man. There's no DQ," but then there's other times that it's like, there is DQ.
Yeah,
so
it's
exactly
ridiculous.
Count outs and stuff. So
yeah, that stuff is.
But
ridiculous.
as long as Randy does not get involved, as long as it's just a clear cut, somebody wins.
Yep.
And they move forward, that's fine with me. That's good with me.
Me too.
Just
I like
do it
this,
like that.
I like this match too that's upcoming, but honestly, each one of these qualifying matches were all really good in their own rights. Like Riddle and Sheamus put on a phenomenal match. Keith Lee and Bobby Lashley, 2 big hosses basically just going at it right there. And then AJ Styles and Orton, too, a WrestleMania rematch from a couple of years ago, where The Fiend did interfere and cost Orton the match. So they are kind of setting up something there, I'm guessing.
Well, it makes sense for the Fiend to go after
Yeah, 'cause he
Orton.
burned his house.
Orton, Viper and the
Yeah,
family.
literally, he burned his house and all that.
Killed Sister Abigail again.
And what did you say, Justin? You're to pick Styles for this match?
I feel like the safe bet is going to be my order of like preference would be Styles, just because he's my favorite. Then Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, just interest level. But I think they're going to take the safe
Who's Matt
bet.
Riddle?
Sorry,
Who's Matt Riddle?
They'll probably just take the safe bet, and put Styles in the match for TLC because we've seen him in those type of matches.
Yep.
But also with Keith Lee, if they really want to, blast his ass to the moon, they could put him in this one and kind of rehash the little, thing they had going on earlier with Keith Lee, Drew, and Orton, which who knows if they actually will go back to it, because if that's the case, then Orton's somehow working his way back into this, and I don't want that.
No.
And just Matt Riddle is just
okay.
It's okay. Calling him Matt Riddle is like referring to Washington as, their former name, but
literally, yeah.
So I don't know. I would I like to see Keith Lee? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to hold off and just go with Styles for the safe bet for kind of TLC? Yes.
I think Keith Lee.
Yeah.
I really think Keith Lee's gonna win, just because they kind of planted the seeds earlier, like a couple weeks ago, with like them being all buddy and stuff. And I don't know. I feel like Keith Lee's fine too. It's a B tier pay per view. It's not like it's a main big four, so it doesn't need to be a big title match. I feel like
that's where they like to use Styles, though. I feel like they love to use Styles on the B pay per views to put on really good matches. So I think Styles is the safe bet. I think he will. I don't think Riddle is ready enough for it. I don't think they've built him enough for it. I'm a huge Riddle fan. I think he's great.
They just need him to feud with Baron Corbin for another 2 months to be ready.
No.
Yeah, I just don't think he's ready. I would love if Keith Lee won and then they just did Riddle AJ at TLC. Like whoever wins, the other two should still have a TLC match, and then just make it another number one contenders match. So you have whoever wins is still then the number one contender on the next pay-per-view. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. It's very exciting, that triple threat coming up this Monday on Russell. We'll all be watching that.
I just hope it's good.
It'll be fine. I know.
As long as they give it time. As long as they
give it time. 3 great talented wrestlers in that match. Whoever wins,
let it have an actual finish.
Please, that's all we ask for. Because TLC is probably coming up soon. I don't know the exact date, but it's like
the back end of December
28th.
Yeah,
it's like December
20th. After Christmas.
20th.
It's way after Christmas.
20th.
No, it's before.
Before.
No, I thought it was before.
I don't know.
It's before Christmas.
I don't know. I was asking you guys.
Let me look it up.
Yeah.
December 20th. Yep.
20th.
Okay.
So 5 days before Christmas. Cool. Yep. I'm with it. But there's always something good to talk about. There's always something bad to talk about. And for the last couple
5 bad things to talk about.
Okay, Mr. Negative Nancy.
I don't like Raw.
Raw was good this week though. Raw was better than previous weeks this week. It was watchable.
That's a low bar to clear.
It was watchable.
I do also think with no Invasion storyline going on and Survivor Series going on, Raw was a lot worse.
It was
a lot more unbearable because they weren't building to anything besides Drew Randy.
That's it.
But it was a 3-hour show. So you can't have a 3-hour show of just Drew and Randy. So I think getting out of Survivor Series is going to help Raw a lot.
And it did a lot. But originally in the night, we were supposed to see Asuka versus Lana for the Raw Women's title, which ended in a DQ when Nia and Shayna got involved. And they're still running this Lana thing because then there was a tag match with Asuka and Lana versus Shayna and Nia. And Asuka and Lana got the win, and they're continuing this stuff. And Lana's going to have a title around her waist sooner than later. I'll tell you guys that right now.
She's winning the world title. She's going to win it at Rumble.
It might not be the world title.
She'll win something at Rumble.
She might win the Rumble.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
It
No.
might.
No.
It needs to be like Bianca
Charlotte
Belair.
Flair, Becky Lynch, Lana.
Lana.
Those would be the women.
Did Asuka win one?
Asuka. Yeah,
Who won the first one?
I think Asuka won the first one.
Becky.
Then Becky.
No,
then
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yes. Yeah, because Charlotte challenged for
yeah,
the NXT.
Charlotte eliminated Shayna.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because the betting favorite was Shayna by a long shot to win that. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Lana's on this hot streak. Get used to seeing Lana on your television because she will be here week in, week out in these programs. Granted, she has improved in the ring. I will give her that. She has improved.
That's also just because of what they've done to her is they haven't let her had a chance to prove herself.
Yeah.
I mean, Survivor Series, they literally had her stand on the steps.
Then she won.
Hey, she did 2 moves before that.
Okay, it's something, but it's continuing. Bold prediction by WrestleMania: she will either be a tag champ with someone, or she will be the women's champion on Raw. It's gonna happen. But that's enough Lana talk. Nothing against Lana, but maybe a little bit against Lana, but whatever. Moving on to something that was done really well. They also ran Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross on Raw. Alexa off, but it was really well done. There was a part in the match where Alexa Bliss was trying to beg Nikki to save her for a second, almost like her real personality was starting to come out. Oh my God.
Is that your Alexa talking?
Yes. Every week, man. I have to just unplug it before the show. I plug it mid-show all the time. But mid-match, Alexa was crying, pleading to Nikki, almost saying to save her, which was an act she put on. She put on a fantastic act. It fooled me for one. And she wound up just pinning Nikki Cross and ending that little friendship there for good. And Alexa is just...
For a while.
For a while. But Alexa is just phenomenal in this role. We have to touch on that, of course.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed this. This has been one of the bright spots, if not the brightest spot from Raw week in and week out. So nothing bad to say here.
No, not at all.
Yeah, Alexa's good. Everything they do with the Fiend has been good.
Yeah, I think there was a fun house this week. I think was this the week they killed the frog? I think they killed the
frog.
I think
it was, yeah.
TV. Yeah, they killed the frog, so that was fun too.
Why not a turkey? You thought that would have been at least current events.
It was the friendship.
Because friendship frog.
Yeah,
friendship frog. It's all about alliteration.
Friendship turkey? That doesn't work.
Thanksgiving turkey.
Okay.
Why would it be Thanksgiving turkey?
I don't. Okay.
It's for friendship.
Okay. Yeah. Rest in peace, friendship frog. I think he was born in 1980. They said or something. So.
Yeah, he was 40 years old.
Yeah. Anyways, that does it for Raw. We touched on the main parts of Raw. Another thing, I think the New Day retained their titles in a heel-ish way. I didn't put this in the rundown, but the New Day retained against the Hurt Business again. They kind of won very heel tactically. I don't know if something's going on there where they're turning soon, but that's cool. Nothing to really debate or talk about with that. So let's move on to the best night of the week for wrestling, Wednesday nights, and we have NXT and the build to NXT TakeOver War Games, one of my favorite takeovers every year. So I'm very happy.
It's my favorite. It's honestly probably my favorite themed show that either WWE or NXT does every year. It's my favorite theme stipulation.
Yeah, mine's up there with Rumble.
Yeah.
Because it's built up every year like how Hell in a Cell should be built up if it was a non-theme stipulation where, it's to where it gets to the breaking point between two teams and it's the final resort to settle everything. It's perfect. And this year is going to be even more perfect because of Pat McAfee. And it's not like you can say, oh, it's November, it's Survivor Series time for War Games. They pushed it to December. So at least it's not like it's where it's oh, here comes, October time for Hell in a Cell. They pushed it back a week.
Yeah.
Fine by me.
The thing that I love about War Games is that it doesn't feel forced. These guys are forced.
Every year it happens naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause there's just feuds that go on and teams that just slowly get built over the last couple of months. And even this week we saw a new member of a team get added, which was Toni Storm turning on Ember Moon after her match. Tony did say you will see a new Toni Storm in NXT, and everyone was like, okay, whatever. She's just going to be there with her thick cheeks and chill around and beat up people. But anyways, she attacked Ember Moon and joined Team Candice LeRae, which consists of Candice, Raquel, Dakota, and it looks like Tony as well. So that's one side of the team. We don't know. Team. No, it's not. And we don't even know Team and we don't even know Team Shotzi yet. There are predictions that it's going to be Rhea, Io, whatever, a couple of the main women there, but I like this. I like this a lot. I like the Tony turning because, like we said on this show before, Tony is very like we don't know much about her. We haven't seen her wrestle much, and now we finally get to see her personality a little bit and see what she's gonna do in NXT. So I don't know about you guys, but I like this turn. I like the way it's going.
Yeah, no, they've built it naturally, and I like it. You know, all over a tank basically. Like when you think about it, like that's the catalyst of this all. But screw it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm glad Tony turned. I wasn't a big fan of Tony time.
It was kind of good
Tony
because
Time's
because they had her and Ember come back at the same time, so they would have needed one of them to be heel. Like it would have been weird to have two faces come back, and even like kind of looking at how when Tony came back, the way she kind of did it was a little heelish. She's kind of like appearing on a screen rather than actually being there.
True. I didn't even think about it that way. You're right. But no, I like this too. It finally, because like we watch NXT. We don't really watch NXT UK a lot. I don't know about you guys, but
I've never touched it.
No.
Nope.
So we're not really familiar with the performers over there. So getting them on this main television on NXT and then seeing them actually compete and all that. We also saw grizzled young vets return too, who have been in NXT for a little bit and were in NXT UK a lot of their time. So seeing these NXT UK guys coming over and making a name for themselves, and us casual NXT fans seeing them what they do best is really, really nice. It's really nice for all of us.
I had to laugh on WWE's Instagram though. Congratulations to Walter for holding the title for 600 days. It's like, has he defended it? Like, all 600 days? But it's like he's also been in quarantine for 9 months where he just literally didn't do anything. Not because of him, just circumstance.
Watch him beat the Bruno Sammartino record.
Hey, Brock,
10 years.
Brock never defended his belt.
I know.
True. Very true.
Brock never defended his title, and he got away with a lot. So
yeah, but wow, Walter, that's crazy. And too bad he doesn't want to live in the States because otherwise he'd be a great addition.
He'd be really good.
He'd be a great addition to NXT. But let's continue in the show. And one of my favorite parts of the show each week is Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes, because they're just two of the most entertaining people in all of NXT, just complete polar opposites. And we know how Grimes escaped from their haunted house match at the TakeOver, whatever, the Halloween Havoc. So Grimes can't run away, and I think they had a blindfold match one time too.
Yeah, they've had all odd stipulations.
I love
all
it.
Good. They've all been good.
It's funny. It's hilarious. But at TakeOver, they're going to be in a strap match now. They're going to be tied together by a strap. I don't think this is a four corners match like the crappy.
It's just they're attached so they can't run away.
Exactly.
Usually, strap matches are probably one of the most type of like just whatever, because we've seen like the Russian chain for like Rusev. Like whenever two people are connected by the wrist with a long rope of some material, basically, they can either be interesting. They're never great matches. It's either train wreck, boring, or okay, it worked, and this will be one of the where it's in the okay, it worked tier.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Just the stipulation itself it limits the match as a whole.
It does, but I think these two guys could just make it work just because of how personable they are. That's
where I think, and that's where I think it's going to be okay. That worked. Like it was good. They did it and it worked. Because really, the whole thing with straps is like being choked or being like pulled off of like the top rope or getting thrown because of like grabbing it. Like it depends on what they do with it. Is really what makes like strap matches essentially. Like if they just whip each other, for like 10 minutes, it's like that's just going to be boring.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I agree with that. But it adds to this really good War Games card so far. And also on the War Games card, we already know it's Undisputed Era versus Team McAfee. And they had a ladder match, just a random ladder match on NXT.
On free TV.
Or literally on free TV between Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly, where the winner gets to be able to have the advantage in War Games, which means they get like the first
They get the extra man. So it would be 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3.
4-on-3.
Yeah.
And it was a great match. Very hard-hitting match. I mean, what do you expect from Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly, man? Pete Dunne is shredded. Kyle O'Reilly, the last couple months between his match with Finn Balor and this one, has had several amazing singles matches, and this is another one. And the way Pete Dunne won, though, was very, very, very interesting. Pat McAfee was not at ringside. It was the Undisputed Era, and it was the two bald guys, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, those guys. Pat McAfee wasn't there, but the way that Pete Dunne won was a guy in that Pat McAfee mask from when he unmasked himself in that silver mask or whatever, came down to the ring and attacked Kyle O'Reilly, and Pete Dunne won. Are they trying to tell us that was Pat, or is that somebody?
I think that was Pat without it being Pat.
Yeah.
I think it was just a
Yeah, they
stand-in.
couldn't afford Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
agree.
That's what my brain says, but my heart is saying that's someone else getting added to the match. And
AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk. I'd be with it if it was a Pat, or maybe Aaron Rodgers too.
Adam Vinatieri.
Oh my god!
No, I think it was just a stand-in. It's similar to what they did with
Yeah.
Retribution, where they just had people doing it where it wasn't actually them.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
Same thing with the ghost face. Was that really Indy Hartwell? Who knows at the time? At the time, who knows? Maybe, but I don't think this was Pat. I think it was supposed to be. It's just a Pat stand-in.
Sadly,
Yeah.
I think so too. But I'm hoping it's somebody else. And Undisputed grabs somebody. I was going to say Undisputed grabs Owens for the match, but I don't think Owens is going to be involved in War Games after this Friday on SmackDown. But no, that was cool. But you brought up Ghostface, Justin. And there was another interesting part on NXT this week where there was another Ghostface. It looked
Scream
like
2, baby.
It's
Actually, no. The first Scream had 2 Ghostface. Sorry, just trivia. There were 2 of them in the first one.
Thank you for that. Thank you for informing a lot of our listeners, actually, because we had a good amount. I can't say all 4 of our listeners anymore because
on the regular episodes, all 4. But on specialty ones or a random baseball one, it's all
literally
plus 100
plus. Wow, that's awesome.
Baseball's at 277, and then the Survivor Series is at 155.
So Survivor Series has stayed the same for a little while now.
Roughly,
All right, so cool. They're done listening to them.
Yeah.
They want new content. They want
exactly.
New
Who cares about Survivor Series? I don't.
Neither do I. But no, there's another Ghostface now because Candice and Indy and I think Johnny maybe was involved too. They all ran away into a car and they rolled down the window. And there's another Ghostface. So I don't know who's under this one now. It might be a guy, Champ.
I doubt it'd be Ciampa.
He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, right?
It was one of Gargano's boys. Does he have friends?
No.
Yeah, then who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Candice?
This one's got to be David Arquette then.
There you go. This one's David Arquette.
Mhm.
Well, we busted the code,
It's
but
Cena.
That's when he's coming back.
Imagine Cena in NXT for his last run.
That'd be
Give
really
that. So if Cena would win the NXT title, would that count as number 17?
It'd have to be.
Do they count Charlotte's NXT as getting her closer to 16 or 17?
They do.
Well, then, yeah.
Wow. Cool. Give me Cena in NXT, but we're way off topic here. That's it for NXT. Nothing else too notable happened in that part. It was all just good stuff, and we talked about the important stuff, but we're flying right through this episode. So let's get into Friday Night SmackDown from last Friday, and we got to start with the bad stuff and eventually work our way up to the good stuff. So Dirty Dogs, I think is the name of this tag team now, which is Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. They pinned the Profits. They pinned the Profits clean, and they will win the tag team titles in the very near future. And I'm not okay with this.
Any title that Dolph is in the picture for, I'm never okay with. That's just a blanket statement. I never want him around a belt ever. I'm just done with him. But yeah, I'm with you, Clark. This doesn't sit well. I don't like this at all. This is just gonna be painful.
Yeah, well, you don't have much of a choice on SmackDown. It's either the Dirty Dogs or you got Nakamura and Cesaro as your challengers to the SmackDown tag team titles.
Oh.
It's one or the other, and I really don't think there's any other tag teams on SmackDown right now between those 3. I really don't. So
These tag teams,
you're not
break
wrong.
them up.
Yeah, break them up. We could have had Otis and Tucker over there, but nope.
You're correct. No.
Otis and Tucker.
But that was that. Let's move into some better stuff, and we're gonna start.
Shall we?
We shall, because
Thank God.
Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. It looks like I looked like Daniel Bryan was originally going to go for the world title, but I guess plans changed or something because there's a new number one contender, which I love. But they had a really good match, Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan, and it looks like that's the way we're going for the IC title now.
Cool.
And Zayn won by countout, and it looks like this feud is continuing.
They'll probably put it as like a table match, maybe chairs match.
Chairs match.
Yeah, this seems stupid enough to do a chairs match.
Something where Sammy can't get away.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It'll
be at TLC.
I think it's time for. Yeah, I think it's time for Bryan to win a belt.
Just give him. That's the thing. Just give him a little. Just give him something, because we all know he's stated he's been open like this is it, like hit for a main run. So just and he's been a good soldier, throughout his tenure at WWE, other than getting fired the first time. But he's been good. Give the fans something to cheer for, and it'll be a good match with him and Sammy. So it's nothing that can really go wrong at this point. And it just legitimizes the Intercontinental belt for a little bit, because we had the unifying one essentially between him and was that AJ. So
AJ and Sammy and all
so that was a good match, and him and Daniel Bryan won't disappoint.
No, I agree. It's good to see Bryan doing something with his new Miz lookalike haircut and all that. It's fine. I'm with it. And let's just talk about like the women really quickly, because there wasn't much with the women this week, but Bianca Belair picked up a win against Natalya, and looks like they're doing Bianca Bayley sort of feud going on. Cool. Nothing to talk about here. I
think they're setting up so that Bianca beats Bayley, and then she's the number one contender after they get this Carmella feud over with Sasha.
Just about.
Which, by the way, has Carmella won anything?
No, she hasn't done much.
Like, she's the number one contender, but she hasn't done a single thing.
She attacked Sasha.
She just came back.
She came back, hit Sasha with a couple moves, a super kick here or there, and that's it. But it was vice versa this week, because Carmella was doing a backstage little thingy, and Sasha Banks finally came back and attacked her. So cool, whatever. We only have 10 minutes left in this recording because we're not doing another session because it's not worth it. So let's spend these last 10 minutes talking about the hottest thing in wrestling right now, and that is Roman Reigns. So the show started off with Jey Uso coming out and hyping up Roman, being like, yeah, my Uso did that. He did that at Survivor Series. He beat Jey. Then Roman just interrupts him during the middle of that and rolls the footage of him beating Drew, and was like, why couldn't you carry Team SmackDown on your back? You have to be respected around here. Before you were respected, you have to be feared. So be fearful or whatever.
Okay.
It's so good. He's just like treating like Jey Uso like he's nothing, basically, with
it's
loving
fantastic.
him at the same time. There's the acting, and I love this part very much. It's just great. It's just all around really good. But then Jey Uso literally right after that, as he's walking up the ramps, attacks Otis as Otis comes out with a chair.
Not Otis.
Otis. Yeah.
Poor little Tucky.
Huh?
Does anyone miss Tucker yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I wish they were a team.
Yeah.
I do. I wish they were a team. But whatever. But he attacks Otis, and he's getting this vicious side of Jey Uso we're seeing now that Roman wanted out of him. Roman is controlling him and is controlling all of his actions, so Jey Uso can just fall in line and stay in the family. It was just a really good opening. And once again, then later in the show, before I let you guys talk and give your thoughts on this, I'll just get through all the facts that happened. It was main event Jey Uso again versus Kevin Owens. And there was a really good match going throughout the whole time. And then all of a sudden, Jey Uso starts attacking Kevin Owens with the chair again. We're seeing a more vicious side of Jey Uso. But then it changed a little bit. Then all of a sudden, Owens kind of snapped, got a chair, and beat the hell out of Jey Uso now, and just talked to the camera, was talking to Roman the whole time, was like, where are you? Stop having your cousin do all your dirty work for you. I'm waiting for you. And my favorite part of all of this was then Owens going to the announce table and sitting at the side, claiming that he is sitting at the head of the table. That is my favorite
That's fantastic.
part. I think it's so good. And Owens is in a main event feud right now with Roman Reigns.
Thank God.
I know. He's gonna
even if it's just a one-off.
He's gonna get torn.
Oh, he's gonna get torn. He's gonna get torn apart.
He's gonna get murdered at TLC. Like, if that's the case, he's gonna get absolutely ass blasted.
Yeah, he is. And that's fine. Even if this leads to like, say, a triple threat with Roman, Owens, and Bryan at the Rumble or something. If the Bryan Sami Zayn thing, like Sami retains, I'm with it. Owens is in a main event feud. He hasn't done this in
He deserves
years.
it.
In years since
I
he
think
lost the title.
I think this is going to be a one-off for Owens. I
Fine.
think they're putting him in the main event because
It's a
they
bridge.
can, and then
We
and
called
then
this.
I think it's a bridge.
We
yeah.
called this months ago that it would be Owens and Daniel Bryan, basically one at TLC, one at the Rumble, and basically leading up to the feud with The Rock at WrestleMania. We've called this before, but I need to get both your opinions on this lovely, lovely stuff going on.
I hope it's not a one-off.
I think it's
but it will.
It's great. Owens in the main event picture is fantastic. Everybody knows that. He does consistently good work. He's so good at like the little things, like the screaming in the ring, the yelling, the emotion on his face. He's so good at all of those things. And like that's what just puts him over the top over just good performers. But
Yeah.
I mean they clearly know Owens is a good enough performer that they can throw him in the main event picture when they want to, and they can have him on kickoff shows other times.
Sadly, but yeah, it's looking like if the WWE title match is a TLC match, this one might be a tables match just because of the whole Owens sitting at the head of the table thing. This one's leaning more towards a tables match more than anything, but
That's fine because then whatever the Drew match is will be the TLC match.
it will be the TLC. I think that's the way they're going, and maybe a women's match will have the TLC stipulation to it too, so you don't have both male world titles,
which is fine.
But just like you said, Jesse, just on both sides, from Roman, Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens in this, all the little details that were involved with this, just Paul Heyman staring at Kevin Owens when like this was going on, then all of a sudden staring at Roman like in a scared look, because Paul Heyman knows what Roman's gonna do to Kevin Owens once he gets his hands on him. Like it was like a scared, timid look, and Owens just looking right in the camera saying, Roman, why your cousin doing your dirty work for you? I'm waiting for you out here. And Roman with just a pissed off look on his face, knowing that his cousin just got his butt kicked and that this guy is coming after his title now. And this guy hurt his blood too. Owens hurt his blood, and that's his whole storyline with family. And it's just great exactly. Great storytelling, great acting, exciting stuff. It honestly, I love that Owens is in the picture, but it honestly could have been anybody. Just the way.
But doing it with Owens will poke the bear and kind of needle, Roman in ways that will be comedically hilarious, but also just like it'll piss Roman off, and it's the perfect foil for what they need right now. It's like a one-off.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. I don't think they'll do it, but Roman and Jay as tag champs, by the way, also would be great.
That'd be really good.
They walk into Mania as a double champ. That'd be good. I think they're waiting for Jimmy to come back, and they're going to have Jimmy and Jay put the belts on them pretty much immediately.
My God.
If they got another one, they should have like whoever it would be, or even
Tamina.
if they got Tamina, put the women's belt on Tamina,
yes,
and maybe have one of the Usos, if not Roman, take the IC belt and just have them have all the gold.
I'm with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love Tamina to have the belt, first of all, because we're a big Tamina fan over here. But
Tamina fans.
Nobody's meaner. You can't beat her.
No one's meaner. No one's meaner than Tamina.
No one's meaner than Tamina. But just having all the whole Samoan family bloodline just holding the titles at like one point in like January or February, like right around Mania quarter.
Even if it's just for like a month.
That's all it's gonna be.
Have them walk into Mania with it, and if they lose,
have them
fine.
Walk into Mania with the belts. Have everybody lose at Mania.
Yeah.
Or have them walk out of Mania. Have them walk out of Mania, then lose it at whatever the following is.
Is there another Samoan around there that could take the title?
They would need
IC title.
Here's the thing: what they could do is call up The Rock's daughter, put her with Tamina, and then they win the women's belts as well. Both of them.
That actually would probably be the better thing.
You got a point there. You got a good point there. No, because his daughter is in NXT. You are right. And then that even adds more to the story of Roman versus The Rock, because his own daughter is with Roman now. And, that's getting me excited just thinking about all that.
Whoa.
But any final thoughts on this week before we wrap up?
Just kind of a nothing week as a whole.
They better do Roman Rock at me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And typical fashion, Raw is just kind of bleh. NXT is good, and then SmackDown saves everyone's asses as usual.
It honestly gets better as the week goes on. Like, not saying NXT is less than SmackDown; they're very similar this day. But like, it gets Monday is hard to get through, but it's worth it once you get to Wednesday and Friday.
But we're through this podcast.
We're through this podcast. We finished it. So thank you all very much for listening to this episode of the Department Podcast. All three of us, plus the other two not here. Really appreciate you guys listening to us and giving us your feedback and commenting and telling us your favorite part and all that stuff. We do appreciate you guys listening, like I just said. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast because that does help us. We have a couple now. Actually, we do have a couple. So that's cool. Make sure you guys follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Department_pod. We have a week 12 recap of the NFL season coming up pretty soon once the games actually happen. They haven't happened to happen today.
Yeah, it'll be either like Monday or Tuesday, depending on that Ravens game.
Oh, jeez. Should we even include that one?
I don't know, maybe. We can always do like a I don't know, we'll figure it out.
Yes, screw the Ravens. Anyways, that's coming up. Maybe I keep saying everything. Maybe if there's something with baseball or basketball, that'll be coming up soon. We have a War Games predictions episode next week, so that should be fun. So stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.